Hello everybody, this is Dan from the Fundamentals, and I'm back with another unboxing. This time I have the first of what's going to be a kind of a good amount of games from the company WizKids. WizKids is they've been around for a while. They've gone through a few different changes in leadership. Actually, recently came back from the quote-unquote grave. Their original thing, and the thing they're known for, is the HeroClix series. But they were sold to Tops, and they sold to this and that and the other. Got closed down, came back, and now they are back in business. And they are still in the miniatures game, but they are also in the board game, I guess. So, with that in mind, we are going to look at a few of their games they were gracious enough to send me. This is the first one, and it is something I've been really excited about since they sent it to me. It is... Well, that's the wrong theme music, but Star Trek Galactic Enterprises. Now, first of all, I love the joke of the pun of the Galactic Enterprises, but it's based on my favorite series of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. You can see here in the background, and of course the famous and rather greedy and often comic relief, what became almost a main character for the series, Quark, who ran the bar on Deep Space Nine. And this is a game that came out earlier this year in August. First off, though, the box itself, it's compact as hell. It's not that small. I mean, it's a smaller game, built as it is for... it's a rather chill game. It's an economy game, buying, trading, that kind of thing. You can see... you can already see from the box that there is a whole lot of art from the show, Deep Space Nine. Lots of stuff from the cast. And it is heavy. It's one of those games where you pick it up and you're like, oh, look, it's going to be a super light card game. And then it feels thick. And you'll get an idea for why in a second. But let's take it off. I, again, took the plastic off to save your eardrums. As you can see, this game is... And you can see when you open it up, you can already see the Latinum. That's the gold press Latinum, I should say. That is the replacement for money in a universe where there is no money. Put it back there. Now, as you can see here, we have a couple of decks of cards. Here. I'll open these up first. So the way this game works is you are a Ferengi on the promenade. For some reason, Odo or Cisco has decided that Quark and Rom were, they were fine. We could probably use a few more Ferengi, and they've opened up the promenade to new vendors that you are taking advantage of. The goal as a player is to permanently become the first clerk to the Grand Magus, aka Wallace Shawn. So the way the game works is essentially everyone gets to be the banker once. This is the symbol of the first clerk here. And the first clerk is basically who goes first, but they're also the banker. They pass out the money, they handle the auctions, that kind of thing. And that changes each turn. But the permanent winner is the person who has the most gold Latinum at the end. Now, these are resource cards. Synthahol, power cells. What you can triples. Always know what you're buying. I love triples. Pads, you know, for back when having, you know, flat digital screens in your pocket was a sci-fi thing. Dabo machines, that's space roulette, essentially. Phasers, you know, gotta have guns, it is Star Trek. But these are the things you're trading. Basically, you are trading space commodities in the market. Now, these are the action cards. Well, first you can see the marker cards here. Replicator units and dilithium crystals. You gotta have those. But over here you have the actions. These are things that happen during the game that mess up how things are going. Everything from Oscan pirates to the fact that whatever you're working on was made by Klingons, to Section 31 showing up to do spy things. These are things that just screw up business because they are, after all, owning a business in a Star Trek TV show. So next to a wormhole on a space station, next to a wormhole. So all kinds of stuff can kind of go down. As you can see from the art, by the way, there really was a lot of effort put into making this feel like something kind of Star Trek-y with the pseudo kind of retro, flat colors, the curves. Then, of course, you can see the pictures here. We have Kira and her evil Kira self meeting. And, you know, that's the flavor of the game. I mean, it really feels like something from Star Trek. Like, not necessarily a game you'd play in Star Trek. I'm sure that would have more holograms, but this is it has the feel of it. And this here is the price fixing sheet. I know it's a little bit daunting to see this because, well, this is an economy game, so there's going to be math, just FYI. But this is it. There's about 8 turns, 10 if there's enough players. But the way the game works is you have an auction to buy these items, and then you negotiate with your fellow Ferengi, the other players, to fix the prices. You know, it's not a perfect, it is capitalism in its finest form, and this is the way you handle it. What you do is you set the prices, and then the gold press Latinum is dealt out based on a few different factors, mostly how well you were able to sell it. So if you set the price too high, like say if you're trying to sell lithium crystals and you set that at like 12 or something ridiculous out of if it went with everyone else, then you don't get any money because obviously you were way out of your league. But if you were to undercut people, so if you were trying to sell power cells and you undersold, then you would get that much, and also a bonus. If you are a neat thing is that if you're selling multiple things, like if two Ferengi are selling tribbles, they can, or more, they can negotiate to like set it at 3 or set it at 6 or something. But if you're a particularly clever Ferengi, there's no rules in Ferengi capitalism or any capitalism. You can undercut your quote-unquote other people in your little cabal, and you will actually get a bonus in Latinum for that. But everyone gets one of these, you get a lot. And again, this has that same retro kind of 60s via the 90s look that DS9 and Enterprise and Voyager all had with the sweeping and the curves and the colors. This is a pretty hefty little thing. There's a lot of these in here. You use one per game. Then, of course, the booklet, which you can see. Again, it's an economy game, fixing prices. There's Odo and Quark. It explains the different levels of Latinum. If you haven't played Star Trek, this is actually a game you can still enjoy because it does a lot of work explaining like who the Grand Nagus is, what Latinum is, how Latinum works, what a Ferengi is. It doesn't necessarily leave you high and dry. A cool thing that it has is these variants, which I'm hoping to try out when I get the review of this done. But of course, there's classic games you can play that are kind of similar to throwbacks, and then things that change it up for a shorter game or an even more cutthroat game where you can sort of undercut really badly, really just make everybody mad. Of course, there's the crew. Oh, the best crew. Wait, where's Dax? There she is. There she is. There's Dax. She's also back there. There she is. Yeah. And then, of course, on the back here, you can see the different phases, bidding for things, fixing prices, making your money, and then trading off the first clerk. It's pretty straightforward. Now, the Latinum, this is why the box is so heavy, because you get these very, very hefty Latinum cardboard pieces. The WizKids does a really good job, as most game companies do, with high quality. But you can see the Latinum. Oh dear. We've got, as you can see from the breakdown. If you look, slips, strips, ingots, bars, and bricks. So we have our one ingot. Where'd it go? There it is. We've got our 1 ingot strip, our 5 Latinum slip, our 10, our 20, and then the big boy, the 50. And these are, you get a bunch of these because, everybody wants this is the money. But, it's Monopoly money. Essentially, it's Star Space Monopoly money. But it is a very thick cardboard. I don't know if you can see, but it's like a Milano cookie. So it really does feel like you're kind of throwing the chips around that you see, in Deep Space Nine when people buy a drink from Quark. They hand them a strip of Latinum. Obviously, the ingots are actually ingots, but you get the idea here. They did blow it up a good size. So there's a really good tactile feeling to these, and you kind of get to pile them up and be greedy and be a Ferengi and go which is really part of the experience, honestly. But it's a really minimalistic setup because you're basically just bidding on cards, writing things down on the sheets, and then collecting these pieces. But if you're into economy games or into Star Trek, it's a really got a lot of that flavor that I think's going to be interesting. So this game right now, it recently came out in August. It is currently available on both the WizKids store, on Amazon, and at most local retailers, retailing for $24.99. So all that, $24.99. Like I said, it really is very high quality. They even give you a Latinum bag. I know it's not much, but a bag to keep the fiddly bits in is really, really nice. So that is it for Galactic Enterprises for Star Trek. I would normally set up the game, but again, it's not a whole lot of setup beyond punching out a bunch of Latinum. But you can check this out online. They've got the rules actually on their website, and keep an eye out on the fundamentals for my review of this game and more in the future. And until then, live long and prosper. Look, don't judge me. Rule of acquisition number 23. Nothing is more important than your health, except for your wealth. This must be what Space Jeff Bezos feels like.